This video was made possible by super sexy sponsor patreon.com/GameChamp. Head over there after the video's over, and for as little as $1, you can watch a brand new video about the Rogue Legacy One Life Challenge. Trust me, it's a hard one. In this challenge, it's impossible to be gay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to VG Myths, the online internet video game TV show that's finally gone bananas. Donkey Kong Bonanza is the monkey game we've all been waiting for, putting players in the shoes of a furious gorilla smashing to the center of the earth, leaving only banana peels in his wake. I've been seeing a fair number of people trying to beat Bonanza without collecting any bananas, and quite frankly, I have absolutely no interest. Instead, we're gonna raise the ante. Can you beat Donkey Kong Bonanza without banana? I'm confused, Miss GC. You just said the same thing twice. You're not collecting banana, but you're not collecting bananas? Are you stupid? Hold up, I think we've got a disconnect here. I'm not gonna be doing a no bananas run. Instead, I'm going to do a no banana run. Bananas are the complete package. Fruity insides with a tough outer skin and a sticker evolutionarily designed to inform you that you are purchasing a banana. Banana, on the other hand, is an uncountable noun. What do you call the fruity insides of a banana? You call it banana. This differentiation has massive implications. Savvy lore chimps should remember all gold found in the Bananza underground originates from the Bonne root at the Earth's core. Gold is literally banana, and thus in a no banana run, it is completely banned. We additionally have to avoid collecting banana chips and bananas, which are shockingly composed of banana. That makes this first wall a significant obstacle. As you smash terrain, embedded gold will sometimes randomly spawn. Punching embedded gold, or even just punching near it, will collect it. This first tunnel is thankfully super short. I was able to get through swinging a rock with sheer dumb luck. Reaching the other side will trigger a checkpoint. Save the game and keep a couple backup saves. Bananza loves to autosave every 10 seconds. The backups let you roll your file back in case banana randomly flies into your mouth. Which is not a joke, that's a genuine risk. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know with absolute certainty why I suddenly randomly get richer every once in a while, but I have a suspicion. The conveyor belt features natural embedded gold. I'd hazard a guess when the conveyor disappears out of view, there's a chance that gold ends up getting itself unembedded. When gold goes from embedded to unembedded, the game assumes it was probably your fault and throws it your way. Reload your save to erase it and run back to the end tunnel. If you're lucky, the automatic gold won't happen. Don't stick around too long lest it show up. Smash a lucky path downward and you'll hit a checkpoint. Next up is a longer, harder rock wall that you're supposed to smash with the shock panel. Unsurprisingly, it does its job a little too well and auto-collects gold. Test your luck chunking through the tunnel manually. If you manage to get through, there's a checkpoint fork on the other side. All checkpoint forks begin covered in gold, but that won't stop us. Punch, pause, and reload. The game autosaves slightly before the gold gets collected, so we're still safely at 0. There's a second shockwave switch, but this one is usually safe to press. Continue to the end and smash a banana. No worries, these bananas aren't actually collectible. They just trigger a cutscene in which they're torn from DK's grasp. Punch through the cutscene rock to officially begin your underground journey with 19.93 gold. Double checking the footage, that is super bizarre. We definitely entered the cutscene with 0 gold. I reloaded and repeated the same path to do some experimentation, every time ending up with a randomly fluctuating amount of gold. We don't have much to go off to explain why this is happening, but I once again had a suspicion. Fun fact about Bananza, there's an automatic collection mechanic that occurs at the end of challenge maps, grabbing all the goodies the player left behind while pulverizing the populace. What if that same function is also used when cutscenes are triggered? That would mean we're specifically collecting the gold nuggets we spawned in along the way. In practice, that seems to be true. On this particular run, I got really lucky and only spawned in around 4 or 5 small nuggets. After the cutscene, I had 4.98 gold. Each nugget gives a random amount hovering around 1 gold, so that matches up. There's one true test that can really confirm this hypothesis. We've got to reach the end without allowing a single nugget to appear. The first rock wall is likely to drop gold if you fully break it. Instead, grab chunks off the center to widen the hole and slip through. The following rock wall isn't happening, so climb it up to the roof. These upper walls are unclimbable, so there isn't a direct path to the bananas. We'll have to make one. Soft terrain like dirt sticks on collision. Grab a few handfuls, praying you don't unearth gold in the process, and throw them up to create some footholds. Just 3 chunks is enough to reach the top. Drop down, break a banana, and arrive in the underground with 0 gold. We'll have to dig our longest tunnel yet, this time through dirt instead of stone. Do singular punches, changing direction slightly if gold spawns in the way. Sometimes you'll strike a gold geyser. Don't panic. Loose gold, unlike embedded gold, will eventually despawn. Another cracked wall is at the end. Open it up, walk through, and a cutscene will start introducing you to the sublayer. As you might be dreading, after the cutscene, all the gold we just spawned jumps into our mouth. There are no detours, and this tunnel is way too long for good luck to be viable. I tried getting past the cutscene trigger, climbing around the surrounding wall, and just bum rushing, all of which were fruitful. Then I remembered one of the patented VG Myth's secret techniques. Carve to the end, being careful to leave the rock bug along the way intact, about face, and die painfully and horribly. Upon death, terrain stays dug and all spawned gold disappears. The way is clear to watch the cutscene without a single nugget to your name. Hop down and unlock Odd Rock as normal, just being careful not to crush any terrain along the way. This barrel on the main path shoots you up through terrain and is not an option. But interestingly, as soon as the main barrel is freed from its void prison, another completely unrelated barrel spontaneously appears off to the side. Above it is nothing but open air. Some fairly simple climbing strats can avoid all gold up till the topmost checkpoint. The barrel course shoots you directly through lines of gold. Take the long way up instead. When you reach the top, a cutscene occurs, which auto-collected gold, even though as far as I knew, I never spawned any. That's probably because of these guys. Enemies are capable of breaking objects in terrain, meaning they're also capable of spawning gold. As far as the cutscene is concerned, enemy spawned gold is identical to DK spawned gold. Rush up as fast as you can before they get the chance and try to keep the camera pointed away. I suspect based on gamer vibes, they're more capable of doing things while you're directly looking at them. After the cutscene is a fight against the game's first crockhead. Carefully rip, tear, and smash it apart one bit at a time. It'll drop a handful of loose nuggets, which you should be able to step around safely. Once it's dead, turn the key and save and reload to erase any gold. Break through the stake and open the way to the game proper with 27.89 gold. We've got another bigger problem. During the cutscene, the whole top of the tower is destroyed. Notice post-cutscene loose gold nuggets are laying around. I did some testing and it's looking bad. If you close the game during the cutscene, your file enters an interesting little glitch state. The tower is mostly destroyed with some bits at the top still lingering. Before the player even gets control, the cutscene where the tower gets destroyed starts playing. It's hard to say specifically what the sequence of events going on is. We can say with certainty the terrain is secretly destroyed right around the time the cutscene plays, the autosave timing is after the terrain is destroyed, and even if we try to abuse the autosave, we still end up with gold in our inventory after the cutscene. I spent way too long experimenting, destroying most of the top tower manually with zero tangible effect. We always gain a random amount of gold hovering in the 10s and 20s. Such a high value, I have little hope of praying for good RNG. Bananza has bested me. The Donkey Kong Bonanza No Banana Run is mission failed. But wait, wowie zowie, I'm so determined. Let's go not eat banana, but only the number of banana that are the lowest amount, is what I would normally say in this situation. Unfortunately, a minimum banana run is hyper non-viable. Remember, the amount of gold that spawns in and gets collected fluctuates pretty wildly. Getting that number down to its bare minimum could very well take hundreds of hours to research and execute for this one instance. Which, like, maybe I'd be willing to do if the number were 0 and not like 5.23. Look, I've done some stupid stuff. I am physically incapable of time management, but I am not spending hundreds of hours collecting 5.23 banana instead of 5.24 banana. We're gonna resort to the forbidden technique, semantics. This minimalist run isn't gonna be a minimum banana run, it's gonna be a minimum number of times we failed to not get banana run. The rules are stupid. Every time we reach a point in the game we can't get through without collecting gold, banana chips, or bananas, we up the mission failed counter by 1. It doesn't matter how much we fail in any kind of measured way, whether we collect 0.01 banana or 1,000 banana, as long as it can reasonably be considered one distinct failure. Where that failure begins and ends is gonna be context-sensitively, subjectively wibbly-wobbly. This really is the best I've got, and honestly, considering we already had this much to work with by the end of the tutorial, I was too interested in the run to stop. Since the amount of gold is gonna fluctuate throughout the run and collecting gold can literally happen off screen, you'll need to keep your current gold count written down in case it goes up when you aren't looking. To help everybody at home follow along, I'll be adding that extra counter to the HUD. If that counter is ever a lower number than the gold count below it, you'll know with certainty a failure has occurred no matter how subtly that gold was collected. We officially bank mission failed number 1 and drop into the lagoon lair. In your exploration, you'll eventually notice fall damage can be a major problem. Landing from even a slightly elevated height crushes the ground beneath you, potentially revealing or even collecting gold. Perform a roll just before landing to reset your momentum and land gracefully. The next sub-layer is opened by breaking another stake smaller than the one back on the tower. There are multiple stakes to choose from. This particular stake is the most easily accessible. Punching it presents another, more direct problem. The first time a stake is damaged, it drops and auto-collects gold. I tried every method of attack I could think of, and all of them caused the gold to drop and collect. Even teleporting away from the gold doesn't help at all. Breaking this stake is synonymous with failure. Luckily, this time it's not our only option. One of our other options is this mini stake. Mini stakes do not drop gold on punch, so we can get into Sublayer 101 safely. There's a whole quest to fill this layer with water, which is a dev-intended waste of time. A simple turf surf chunk jump gets you over the water to the Kong Elder, and the same tech can be used to reach the record. Delivering it is a triple whammy, opening the way forward, unlocking the Kong Bonanza, and cursing DK with the gift of fatherhood. Don't worry about the tutorial, it's 100% optional and can be skipped from the menu. The path forward is blocked by multiple concrete walls. Kong Bonanza can get through these, but I hesitated to use Bonanzas in the early run due to my intelligence deficiency. Instead, I used our other age-old secret technique, Controller Number 2. Player 2 plays as Pauline with the ability to shout out projectiles. By default, these are made of stone, and you can load up ammunition of most terrain types within sight, including concrete. Shotgun some concrete bullets to shred the whole place down. At the end of the path is unfortunately a medium stake. This one is explicitly our only option to continue the level, and just like the others, drops gold on its first hit. There's no way around it, we've officially met mission failed number 2. Even though we've officially failed, we're still gonna at least keep it limited to the stake itself. Do a quick run through, breaking all the walls and allowing enemies to carve the banana roots, die, and run back to watch the stake destruction cutscene without auto-collecting anything extra and drop to Sublayer 102. Fly past the gold-littered obstacle course to meet the game's first boss, Octostomp. In a casual playthrough, you probably demolish this guy in about 10 seconds. That's not gonna work for us for obvious reasons. The mini Octoroks perish at the slightest provocation and tip you for the pleasure. We'll have to beat this guy without touching a single one of them. Let him slide twice, then snipe him exactly once, resisting the temptation to shoot anymore. Hitting him multiple times in a row tends to cause gold to be collected. I'm guessing he gets Octoroks stuck inside him that shake out after he moves. Keep the pattern going until his final desperation move, calling all Octoroks to a giant mound. Pray that mound is somewhere away from any Octoroks, rush up and spam default punches. For whatever reason, roll punches cause gold to drop, but the default is completely safe. If you manage to break him down fast enough, you'll defeat Octostomp with 0 gold collected. The mask stake is safe to destroy, and we exit the lagoon lair to enter the hilltop lair. This one's a simple pit stop. Break the void machine, run back to the friendly construction fractone, and pay them a measly 2,999. Oh, that might be a problem. This purchase is absolutely 100% no way, no how, unavoidable, and yet another reason this run is measured semantically. I've gotten good faith word from the Strem chat that even if you hypothetically did some triple-double flip glitches, there's an impenetrable death barrier below the ground that only goes away when you empty your pockets. Now, this would definitely count as one singular failure no matter how we go about it, but I have several obsessive compulsions. Since every nugget is randomly worth around 1 gold, if you save scum when you're close to 2,999, you've got good odds to land exactly on the dot. Pay the cheapskate exact change for mission failed number 3. If you're a mega cheese fan, you might be thinking exact change is a mistake. After all, if the amount of gold doesn't change the failure count, then a failure that collects 3 million is way better than a failure that collects 3. Then we'd have enough to make every purchase in the game. To prevent any such semantic abuse, all banana-based transactions are banned no matter how much gold we happen to come in with. Each distinct purchase is another distinct failure. We won't have to go far down the tunnel to discover another unskippable medium stake, banking mission failed number 4. This one drops us into the canyon lair, and we won't be here long. Normally, you're supposed to go on some big platforming adventure which begins with a boss fight against Grumpy Kong. That would probably be hard, so let's not. That island up there is the one you end up at near the end of the Canyon Lair story, only just barely a hop away from the first town. Grab a chunk, double tap surf, swing, jump, roll, punch. You can consider this combo the natural extent of DK's basic movement. Anywhere reachable with it is free. Use it to cheese past the gold on the climbing course and reach the next checkpoint. By the way, while you're up here, you can also deposit your excess gold at the fractone tree. It has no practical purpose, but being at 0 just feels nice. If you ever see the gold count suddenly become 0 in the footage again, it's probably because the compulsion took over. Grab some soft dirt and make your own mud path to skip the dev intended one. Up top is a medium stake ensuring mission failed number 5. The main boss of the canyon lair awaits, Stompy Dompy. Dompy drops gold when he takes damage. In the absence of any universal erasure techniques, that probably means a guaranteed mission failed number 6. In the Divide, we have to make a critical choice with long-term implications for the run. To the left is the Freezer lair, containing the speed-focused Zebra Bonanza. To the right is the Forest lair, containing the flight-focused Ostrich Bonanza. Only one lair is required to beat the game, and there are 2 separate mission-failing stakes above each entrance. For the purposes of this run, it's entirely possible one of these 2 choices leads to less failures in total. That means we have only one option: make a backup save and scout out both. Since Ostrich is way more versatile when it comes to sequence breaks, I headed into the Forest lair first. The Ostrich Elder is in the hotel on the first sub-lair. With really simple jump combos and climbing around the walls, you can dodge all gold and attain Ostrich Bonanza free. There's a small stake leading to sublayer 601, but it specifically leads to a completely sealed cage, so it's not an option. Break the main medium stake instead for mission failed number 8. This sublayer requires us to destroy a few poison plants, all of which can be reached with the standard jump combo. The last one is a little bit trickier, but remember you can simply prune the thorns in the way before climbing up. A medium stake leading to the next sublayer is revealed, which we break for mission failed number 9. We'll have to make sure no gold spawns in before triggering the cutscene inside the thorns, made easier by flying around the backside and dying a little after breaking open the entrance. Enter the boss fight against Planty Dandy. Planty doesn't technically drop gold on hit, but is equally as impossible as Stompy. Planty's thorns always spawn a few geysers of gold to fly out, which inevitably dribble around the arena. There's an important aspect to gold despawns that hasn't come up till now. Object permanence is a myth. Gold only despawns while visible. If you can't see the gold, the despawn timer pauses. Even a single nugget falling off the sides here blocks our view of it and prevents it from despawning. Meanwhile, Planty is inevitably gonna throw more thorns out to spawn more gold. I've tried stunning Planty to give as much time for despawns as possible, but goldless just isn't feasible. We defeat Planty with mission failed number 10. The forest layer added 3 failures to the counter in total, which is pretty bad. Let's get in the DeLorean and enter the freezer layer with the counter at 7. To get the Zebra Bonanza, we'll need to head through the path in the mountain. The entrance is opened with an unfortunately placed button. The shockwave destroys the golden roots by the entrance, which miraculously don't grant gold, then a tiny fraction of the root falls, shatters, and splashes in your mouth. Object impermanence proves useful here. Hit the button, turn the camera away, and mosey along into the tunnel with your lips firmly sealed. A medium stake awaits, but don't punch it yet. This stake is actually completely optional. The only reason plot-wise to open it is to obtain the Zebra Bonanza, which would be really nice since it allows you to walk on crumbly bridges, including the ones leading up the Zebra Tower, but really nice does not mean required. Just like the more vertical climbs we've already done, you can create footholds along the bridge and jump across. Drop down the zebra's throat to enter the Poppy Kong boss fight. Poppy can only be damaged while stunned, dropping 3 gold nuggets which miraculously don't land in your mouth. That gives cheese potential. Slowly deal damage a little bit at a time with drive-by punches. When she's low on health, keep her distracted and start a staring contest with all the dropped gold. Once it loses, land the final hit on Poppy, which miraculously doesn't spawn any gold, keeping our failures static. Poppy opens the way to sublayer 501's indoor section. There's an ice cube puzzle I briefly attempted to solve badly, but eventually I decided to cut the knot. A medium stake below blocks sublayer 502 with mission failed number 8. Have Pauline thaw a path to the end, drop down, and fall cancel to fight Roly Doly. This battle is simply not happening. You need to dig Roly out of an avalanche to hurt him, which always spawns gold, both from the terrain destruction and a giant shower when you've reached Roly. I've barely managed to damage him once with a couple hours of attempts, which is only a third of the way. Even if we got that far, we'd have to find time to despawn all the gold before the final blow, which is its own can. I took the loser's way out with mission failed number 9, completing the freezer lair. That is a problem. If you remember, the forest layer ended with the count at 10, a distinctly higher number than 9. That makes the freezer timeline where we don't get any bonanzas canon. Continue your descent into hell at the junction. The plot advances when we destroy 2 void devices, one accessible from the freezer exit and the other the forest exit. We don't actually have to go to both layers though. Copy Fractonium and turn Pauline on full auto. Soft terrain sticks when it lands, even if it happens to land on soft terrain. Since Pauline can load infinite bullets, she can create an infinite bridge leading us into the 3-step boss fight against Void Kong. First, he moves into Hilltop Lair. Void has simple behavior, moving to specific points in the level in a linear order. His health bar doesn't matter. Hitting him will force him to move, and the fight ends when he takes damage at his final destination. As with all bosses, beating him auto-collects any gold spawned during the battle, and Void Kong is a particular dick with barrages of terrain-destroying and gold-uncovering attacks. The best counter is not to let him. Memorize his preset locations and snipe him just before he gets there. That isn't good enough on its own though, as Void carves through all the ground in his way, spawning gold in the process. But what if we carved the ground ourselves? Give the main plaza a wide berth to avoid triggering the battle and snipe Void Kong's path, dying when nuggets appear to continue. Once you're satisfied, give him a few choice words. Follow him into the Lagoon Lair. The same strat does not apply. Moving off the EO platform in any direction triggers the boss fight cutscene. We have zero mobility. The devs were sneaky enough to turn checkpoints off too, so you can't even teleport away. Being stuck in one spot means even if we carved all the terrain with pinpoint precision, we'd have no way to die and despawn all the gold that appears, destroying the entire point. Void Kong is even more aggressive this time, so preventing a single nugget from appearing by battle's end is practically impossible. And it gets worse. After the battle, we have both gold and banana chips. Collecting banana is one thing, but banana chips? Those are practically banana. Every attempt ended with 4 banana chips, which I tracked down to the 2 Really Dillies, each of which drop 2 banana chips on death. The lagoon makes their disposal easy. Stare down at their loot, and once it falls a little way into the water, it will despawn. Now it's safe to clobber Void Kong, resulting in us only collecting banana for mission failed number 10. Begin the finale in the Junction. Chase him down normally, have Pauline pulverize both him and the Void Generator shield walls, run in and punch Void a little bit. You don't want to go too hard on him, let him sit and think about what he's done. Void Kong is a little bit of a lightweight. Once you land a punch on him, he's completely out of commission. The battle is functionally over, so backtrack and take as many bathroom breaks as you need until all the gold is gone. With your bladder empty, return to Void and give him one last pro bono lecture. Enter the Resort Lair. This is a quick and easy pit stop. Climb to the center watermelon with a tricky reverse chunk jump combo. The watermelon skin has a risk of spawning embedded gold, which matters for a fraction of a meter before reaching the softer, fruity rind, which never spawns it. The center unfortunately features one big seed, forcing mission failed number 11. That opens the Tempest Lair. Run the main path to the boss fight against Bluster. He immediately spawns a giant geyser of gold down the center of the arena. Don't panic, this isn't that bad. Shooting both of Bluster's wings stuns him, which you can repeat in an infinite loop for as much gold staring time as you need. Once it's gone, finish him off. Next is the Elder's Record Hunt, which is incredibly easy, though I do want to note you should do the harder of the 2 record pieces first. Placing a shard on the pedestal does not auto-collect gold, so as long as you can get the easier shard to the Elder without spawning gold, it doesn't matter how much spawns when collecting the harder one. Plop it down to attain the Elephant Bonanza. This is the point in the run where I finally realized we don't need to be hesitant to use Bonanzas. While Bananergy is usually refilled by collecting gold, it can also be refilled by sleeping in any bed, one of which is freely accessible in the Lagoon Lair. And by the way, just to be clear, no, the concept of rest is not banana. Drop back to the pit, Bananza, and suck a path to the key. The elephant's terrain sucking ability is surprisingly safe to use and, in fact, has a secret special ability we can demonstrate in the second bluster fight. It's mostly the same as the first, with the added risk of stray shouts hitting the back wall, potentially spawning embedded gold. Now that we've got elephant, that's no longer an instant failure. Elephant suction de-embeds gold without collecting it, converting it to despawnable loose gold. After Bluster 2, ignore all the actual gameplay and zip between the Storm Islands ASAP. At the end, you're supposed to spawn some liftoff ore by destroying a void generator, at which point my poor time management skills kicked in. Time for the third and final Bluster battle. It seems the same until you stun Bluster, instantly playing an auto-collect cutscene. Bluster has new attacks too, including a giant gust of wind which blows all the gold way off the arena. These nuggets don't despawn, they're stuck somewhere we can't see. Effectively, the moment Blusterwing spawns any gold, it's already won. You simply do not have enough time to despawn it. This is a hopeless situation. Unless you win really fast. Get the cursor in position slightly off center near the top of the screen, enter battle, and quick draw. Bluster falls, wallet intact. Smash him to officially end the entire Tempest lair without a single nugget. Fall into the landfill lair. It's a giant dig straight down. There are multiple terrain types to dig through, each of which has its own gold spawn rate. Thick rock near the edges of the arena will never spawn gold, making it mostly safe except for the purple worms that occasionally spawn. Attacking too close to a worm automatically mugs them. Carefully dig in whatever direction is safe. You will eventually have to head further inward where the terrain can spawn gold. It's more dangerous, but the same strategy applies. Some sections can spawn Octoroks. As soon as they show up, let them suck you dry. The tunnel remains on death, so you won't lose progress. Careful where you die though. If DK's life ends on solid ground, he'll leave a pretty banana corpse. If he instead shuffles off this mortal coil latched onto a wall, he'll properly decompose. That's all there is to it. Keep digging down, and if some gold gets collected, reset to try again. You'll be here a few hours. After the final checkpoint is one last dig to the boss room guarded by an army of Octoroks. You won't have time to do more than 1 or 2 punches per trip. Ensure a complete path to the stone barrier is dug, climb back up to a friendly murderer, and ensure no gold spawns on the final trip down to the next boss, Octostomp V2. The strategy is the same, now with roaming Octorok spawning circles and a way bigger health bar. By the time of the desperation move, you'll be dodging an ocean of Octoroks. Plus, if you fail, you've gotta dig that last stretch of tunnel all over again. After a few hours, I finally threw in the towel. Octostomp V2 is just too RNG reliant with too much time investment per attempt. I even lost so much gold, the game started rounding the amount lost on death to 0. I eventually dug down one final time with the understanding no matter what happened, I'd move on with the game. Of course, this was, in truth, a clever brain play, lowering Octostomp's guard so I could sucker punch him without collecting a single nugget. Being bad at video games is my secret technique. We clear a second lair in a row goldless and move into the race lair. Turns out, DK doesn't tend to collect gold during the race, nor is it auto-collected after. Get a quick cheesy victory and enjoy your well-earned mission failed number 12 from the medium stake. Drop again into the Radiant lair. We need to kill an immortal Shade Rock Croc for the key to the second sub-lair. Let him smash the nearby pillar himself to drench him in light, then whittle him down. His key lets us bash a medium stake for mission fail number 13. In the bigger sub-layer 1201, we could hypothetically move to 1202 immediately, or we can make a pit stop for the Snake Bonanza. The hardest record shard is over there and normally requires hitching a ride on the invincible Shade Scorpions. However, grabbing them instantly kills them and auto-collects their banana-flavored innards. You'll have to go about this the easy, tedious way. The other 3 records are easy. One in a dark tunnel, one guarded by a spider you have no obligation to acknowledge, and one at the bottom of a gigantic pillar with a carefully crafted platforming course. Miss the entire point and deliver the final piece to unlock Snake Bananza. Now we can move on to a totally unnecessary max height chunk jump combo to barely reach the key. Even if you grabbed gold on the way down, no you didn't. Break the medium stake for mission failed number 14. The entire tower climb segment can be done goldless with no roadblocks. Miraculously, the scorpions guarding the light switch will spontaneously disappear after you flip it without rudely dying. Except this guy, he just felt like sticking around. After is a basically identical Poppy Kong rematch. This time I figured out an even better strategy. Sit in the center of the arena and snipe Poppy with Pauline. Poppy's hitbox stretches high enough to hit without hitting the gold on the ground. Throw out a couple insulting yawns while the gold despawns and pulverize her when you wake up. After some uneventful platforming in sublayer 1203, you'll be forced to break another medium stake. Mission failed number 15. Next is another boss rematch, Grumpy Kong. Funny enough, while the first fight was so impossible we went out of our way to skip it, this battle just might be the easiest in the game. Load up and fire boom above his head, climb up and clobber him for a 15-second goldless victory. This opens the way to the groove layer, but first, a shocking plot twist. Pauline gets the axe and is removed from our inventory, thus removing both Bananzas and co-op as mechanics. We'll have to perform the Eldritch ritual that revives her using only DK's base moveset. Reaching the main floor is no problem. From there, we need to travel down each of the 3 paths going from left to right. The first path features no roadblocks. The second is not so easy. On the way back from accomplishing our goal, we have to dig through the dreaded hentai tunnel. After a layer of thankfully goldless dirt is a layer of unbreakable rubber or pure gold. You can swap its composition by hitting the harp, not that it does us much good. I had a sneaky idea thinking I could just warp back out, but the devs thought of that. Warps are disabled. There is one way to dig through this gold without collecting it. When soft material is thrown at terrain, it doesn't just stick to it, it transmogrifies it. Throw dirt at the gold, flip the switch to rubberize it, and punch the dirt out, creating a noticeable dent. This gets us a bit of a ways until a third layer of the opposite kind of material of the prior layer. Carving a hole through the point where the walls meet is ultra difficult. I got really close a couple times after many hentai-fueled hours until finally the Strem chat's pleas for sanity won over. There's an alternative strategy. You normally have to go through all 3 tunnels in order from left to right. The door to the next won't open until the prior is done. Because of that, the game doesn't bother checking that you've actually gone through all 3. Technically, only the final path is required. Turns out, getting past the third door isn't a big deal. Speedrunners solved it by throwing some fractonium near the ceiling and nudging themselves straight through. Now we just have to get through the path, which ends at a gold wall we must smash to reach the other side. That would be no problem if we had soft material to throw, but the door is locked behind us and there is absolutely no soft terrain in this tunnel. But there's nothing stopping us from bringing a little bit in. This single chunk isn't gonna be enough to get all the way through the wall. Pauline could duplicate it if she were here. With her indisposed, we're gonna have to duplicate it manually. Drop the fractonium on the side walls, rip a chunk off, and drop it back on to multiply 1 chunk into a dozen. When you're ready, shoot up the wall, punch a hole through it, then roll directly through. There's a couple more gold walls on the way back, both of which can be broken down with the same strats. Back in the center, the entire sequence is considered complete. No gold is required or even spawns in during the Odd Rock rescue, restoring Pauline and completing the groove layer totally gold-free. We dive into the game's final traditional level, the Feast Lair. The burger switches locking the second sublayer are mostly easily accessed just walking around, but that doesn't mean they're free. While moving towards the crumbly tower, I spontaneously obtained a banana chip. I reloaded my save, and within seconds, the banana chip found its way back. Wandering around this section of the park is, for some reason, illegal. With some experimentation, I narrowed things down pretty precisely. The banana chip enters our inventory if we look at this challenge room entrance while within a certain distance. I'd hazard a guess there's a banana chip precariously positioned around there, possibly even out of bounds. It's not legally allowed to exist, and thus not legally allowed to be collected until the camera is pointed in its direction. Luckily, this particular challenge room is up against the level edge, not too close to any burger switches. Just make sure the camera is pointed away when you get close, particularly when jumping off the Ferris wheel to skip the crumbly tower. It's a little awkward, but not ultimately a problem. There's another annoying switch on the swinging rides. Do your hyper jump combos directly across to the opposite end, become Snake, and chunk Snake jump up to the final ride, which will drop you off of the switch. The rest of the switches, even the one guarded by the roller coaster mini-boss, are free. With the banana burger created, it's now time to break the medium steak atop for another mission failed. But what if we didn't? My brain cell finally kicked in to question if any of this was even necessary, and it absolutely wasn't. Speedrunners don't even press the switches, they just phase through solid matter. I tried doing the clip for a while with no success, and then I grew a second brain cell. I was putting in all this effort to skip the steak since I determined that nothing in my arsenal could break the steak without collecting gold. But I'd only tested base DK's moveset before I got any Bananzas! The Kong Bananza has a charge punch stronger than a standard punch capable of destroying tough terrain in a single blow. Unleash one at a steak, and bam! The steak is destroyed in a single hit, which miraculously skips the gold drop, keeping our counter static. This is a run-ending discovery. Press the universal reset button and rewind the clock. The first required medium steak of the run was in the lagoon lair, immediately after we obtained the Kong Bananza, meaning we can shave off every single medium steak throughout the entire run. That cuts mission failed number 2, mission failed number 4, mission failed number 5, mission failed number 7, mission failed number 8, mission failed number 11, mission failed number 12, mission failed number 13, mission failed number 14, mission failed number 15, and
Cough, cough, cough. That's it. There weren't any others. I'm not stupid.
after a few days failing to fail, we loop back onto the burger with a mission failed count dropped to 5. And that's not all, we've got some extra goodies. If you remember, the only thing stopping us from getting the ostrich and zebra Bananzas were the medium steaks blocking the way to them. Those are rubble on the road behind us. We've got a complete Bananza collection at our disposal. Plus, along the way, I took another crack at the failures that remained, in particular, Roly Doly. One of DK's ties, purchasable with probably not banana fossils, recovers Bananergy when you destroy terrain, allowing us multiple transformations per boss fight. Kong Bananza Charge Punch shockwaves can destroy the avalanche long range, potentially allowing you to unearth Roly and deal damage goldless. But this strat still can't save us. As time passes, the rolled down terrain restores itself. Gold nuggets showered from the avalanche get covered up and eventually auto-collected when the battle ends. Since spawning the avalanche of gold and allowing it to get covered up is unavoidable, Roly Doly is still impossible goldless. And while it doesn't shave off a failure, we also discovered my suffering in the landfill layer was completely pointless. You can clip through the upper rocks, fall to the final checkpoint, and roll back in. I should note I did know about this originally. Banging my head against the wall was just too enticing. Before getting back to the run, I should clarify it is now officially segmented. I didn't have the patience to do the really difficult goldless challenges again. Turns out I'm capable of healthy decision making on occasion, sometimes every once in a while. Nevertheless, we're ready to move into the sub-layer 1401, featuring the feast layer boss, Slugsy Bubsy. Pauline can shotgun him up with salt, then when he's stunned, you have an infinite amount of time to wait around before pummeling Bubsy. The slugs around the arena spontaneously combust, but this occurs after the cutscene, allowing you to wait again and finish the entirety of the feast lair goldless. In the Forbidden Lair, you're expected to pay some fractones a metric Bananza to activate the weirdo terrain spawners. They are, however, completely optional thanks to ostrich chunk jumps. Carefully chisel through the final stretch of concrete to reach the Bonne belly button and final boss battle against Void Kong. Banzanas are Banzant here. We've only got base DK with Pauline. Without Elephant, a single embedded nugget anywhere in the arena once again means automatic, irrevocable inheritance and failure at battle's end. Hopping directly toward Void is not a good enough strategy. Platforming takes too much concentration and button pushing when you factor in we've gotta juggle 2 controllers. Instead, rip some sand up and throw it straight across the arena. The fancy Fractonium zone will convert the motion into solid ground. Simultaneously walk forward and snipe Void at each position. If he manages to get some attacks in, you can shoot him out of the air to minimize the terrain damage. When Void runs to his final position, you're under no obligation to follow him. The battle's stalled, so you've got time to double check you didn't leave any gold in your wake. During these inspections, I noticed an interesting behavior. Gold embedded in the spinning Fractonium refuses to move even if the terrain it's embedded in does. Once the Fractonium naturally slides away, the gold notices it's no longer surrounded by terrain and collects itself. This doesn't have any bearing on the run since we already failed the moment the gold spawned, but it's neat. When you've got a lucky run, continue to the arena. Focus completely on speedrunning the Void generators and finally bum rush Void with a half-assed slap. Let him sit and stew for a bit while you go back to clean up. Thankfully, the odds of embedded gold on this terrain seem to be pretty low. We finally defeat Void Kong, and Donkey Kong Bonanza's minimum banana run ends with one angry croc. Obviously, every single one of you is a good little gamer and knew this was coming before you clicked on the video. We've got one last world tracking King K. Rool to the planet core. Each sublayer presents its own challenge, ending with a 100% unskippable minecart. The next sublayer is past a spike floor that can only be bypassed by said minecart. That's a major problem, since the second minecart takes us directly through 2 long lines of gold nuggets. I experimented a while and eventually got the confirmation I needed. With pixel-perfect timing, it's possible to collect both the first and final nuggets in a single max distance bound. Jumping slightly earlier always results in collecting the final nugget, and jumping slightly later always results in collecting the first nugget. That logically means this jump is pixel-perfectly 100% impossible and mission failed number 6. Sublayer 1602 is the Neki autoscroller. The unfurling road sometimes has gold spawn inside it, and it does a subpar job, releasing that gold directly into your inventory. This is solvable with simple, good RNG. You're not done yet. The minecart out of here has a couple short gold lines frustratingly appearing when the screen is completely flooded in yellow. Turn the camera and squint to see the tiniest golden glint and jump over. 1603 and 1604 are easy and free, but both of their minecarts are unquestionably, obviously mission failed number 7 and mission failed number 8. In 1605, the barrel at the end of the first island spits you directly into the arena where you rematch Stompy Dompy. If you remember, Stompy grants gold when taking damage, so this fight is automatically impossible. But what if you didn't have to fight him? I got Pauline to eat a fractone, built a bridge over the arena, and jumped off toward the minecart, then was interrupted in midair by the boss cutscene trigger. Stompy Dompy is definitively unskippable and cements mission failed number 9. After a freebie minecart in Sublayer, 1607 is the rock sliding course featuring mountains of gold down the middle, including a couple pure gold walls you're expected to smash through. I was so confused about what to do until I realized we could kickflip directly up and over. Halfway through, you can take a detour up onto the outer barrier. Watch out, the barrier is spiky and can grind down your chunk. Try to keep the ground on your feet, downhill jam, and pretend you're a Superman. 1608 is the penultimate stop featuring our greatest test yet, a multi-wave battle arena surrounded by golden roots. The minecart doesn't even spawn in till the whole party's on the floor, which we're definitely not making happen the normal way. When you kill an enemy, they get blasted backward and explode. This is obviously not the best environment for that. Call a truce and inform the kabooms that there's something real neat down this ledge. Unfortunately, as I was leading the last one off, they called back up to me. Turns out, there was something neat down there. A simple modification makes this strategy work. Just give them a push. Wave 2 consists of 2 crockheads. Break their outer shells, then the same strat applies. Wave 3 is 3 neckies. When invited to see something real neat, the neckies are so excited they dig out the ground in front of them. These ditches could become traps in later waves. Grounded enemies will sometimes get caught in them and have a hard time walking out. Lure the neckies to the side first and leave the center open. Just so you're aware, if the center ever does get dug out too much, Pauline can fill it back up. When the neckies are successfully lured over the pit, shoot them down. Wave 4 is more crockheads. I should warn, sometimes the crockheads do a circular spin attack. Jump well out of the way, even if it means luring them away from the ledge. Afterward, they'll often hop straight backward, putting them back in position. Wave 5 is 3 Really Dillies. These jerks are too dangerous to attack directly and just hang around looking at all the neat things down there. Go full coyote and jump down to join them. There's enough golden root to walk on that just so happens to extend right next to the level edge. Let really know there's something even neater down there and resist the urge to take a look. The final wave 6 is 3 crockheads, this time carrying golden clubs. Be hyper careful with your shots. When the crockheads perform their the club will explode. That's your chance to fire freely. With a complete batch of Roadrunner stew, the minecart will appear, leading to the final sublayer 1609. There's one last minecart leading to the final boss arena, blocked by a giant boulder behind a tangled web of golden roots. I assure you we can break through without collecting gold, but it's slow. Instead, Ostrich, grab a chunk and mash the roll and punch buttons while holding forward. DK'll do the rest, arriving in the Bonne root chamber. It's finally time for the final battle and determining factor whether our failures creep into the double digits, King K. Rool. The fight's actually pretty simple. Rush the Kremlin King and spam roll punches into his bump. You have infinite energy, so go completely Banzany. Resist the temptation to punch back his cannonballs. Doing so transforms the banana rot into pure gold. Once K. Rool's health bar reaches 0, you're home free for phase 1. K. Rool's got one last dozen phases to take down. First is an auto-scroller freebie. Sit and spin for a couple minutes, and if you're daring, play RuneScape. Your end destination is Neo-Donk City. Focus completely on traversal. Nobody along the way needs or deserves attention. A couple crumbly bridges at the end demand Zebra. When launched up to the next one, you'll burst through the bottom with a high chance of auto-collecting some gold. If that happens, you'll have to restart the entire final gauntlet. Once the RNG is in your favor, K. Rool's final phases remain. They're a bit wilder, but as long as you don't suck and die or punch any balls, there's no gold to worry about.
Oh my god! Okay.
With King King K. Rool finally defeated the Don K. Yong Bananza minimum, failing to not collect Banana Run, ends with a final score of 9. Before heading out, reminder that if you want to make more videos like this possible, head over to super sexy sponsor patreon.com/gamechamp and watch her super cool new Rogue Legacy One Life Challenge video. I do want to mention things are a little tight right now and it's getting hard for me to keep up with my monetary diet. Any money shoveled directly into my face would be super appreciated. Special thanks to all Patreon backers including Salty Sweet, Anon42, Leslam, Badia, Say Do You Remember, Badia, Dancing It, Evil Game Champ is like Bad Evening Nobody, and Unwelcome Forward to WH Facts, the offline on-paper board game movie. Candy Crab Tran says Gwen is great. Natalie Kalita, Jorb, Arcombs, Plesiosaurus may have given live birth to well-developed babies and were attentive parents who lived in pods, attempted wholesomeness. Literal Cat Mint Leaf Winged Cat Girl is gay and doesn't go to bed on time. Reblog if you too are gay and or don't go to bed on time. Robjection wishes everyone the best of luck with their real-life 2025 Damageless run. Yaunarchy, aka Roxy, aka Roxy. Trish Chandler, 1-800-AREUSHRIMPIN. Brisky, Darknit, frequently a doofus, occasionally an idiot, always a fool. F. Amadon, Ian Beck, Biohazard, oh hey, that's me. Arsonist Cat, Sorio99, Cody Merchant, everyone's favorite Clan Ghost Bear McWarrior, Aurelia. Kaiser says please don't forget to look after your physical, mental, and emotional health while gaming, speedrunning, and challenge. Landfair Pawolganiel Gogari, Trunj Rob, William Siliogo Gogoch. Touchstone Banana Phone, Fella, Ken of Red Lions, Morgan Duna Nix, Getsugaru, Love Story Gaming, TTV, Frilly Lily, Selicup, Flame Solus, Kelzo. Macaroni Cat personally endorses running away like a little sissy baby to Hecka. Autistic Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna change my name on here soon, but it's still me, you guys. Neo Sandman 4040. Daybreak the NB Auroran Goddess wishes everyone happy Pride Month and reminds you to continue existing despite your haters. Kimberly the Gamer Bee, who is very tired all the time, you see. Random Internet Cat is a random cat on the internet and should not under any circumstances be trusted to do non-cat things. Nicole the Gamer Girl and Gamer Girl, Gay Bastich, Bruna Kobold. Ella, Fictional Breach, Mind Planet 84. Starfish at Large has the trophy and is on the move. I'll start the car, you grab the guns. The trophy will be ours again. Trans Flag, Hailey Gwendolyn Metzger, Trans Flag. Vanellian, BJ Mashed Potato says to give Game Champ the 3 wacky numbers on the back of your credit card. CK the Penguin supports Miss Champ and states that trans rights are human rights. K the Mad Witch, Shadowfox0002. Pennyco 1, my gaydar broke, give me your transceiver. Arushale Table Building Society, Cassie, Corporal High, Detective Chio, Raccoona, Stop Sign EX. Zytra, who was gonna make the name changes into a consistent bit, but forgot to. Quagsire is the best Pokemon. This is not a patron name, this is me, GamerChamp3000, genuinely stating the truth. Simoris, Fake Tokafan, Georgie Lubinoff, Harmonious Nature. Jetstream Jackie wants you to know that her cat Goggles is both fluffy and gay. Lodestar, Lurker Below. Saint Lesbian in Silly World, Thufer My Hawa, your #1 fan. The Fyriga lit by Thundaza, read thin and immune to Blizzara but not Blizziga. Is Ferris V5 gay? Bugwife, Fujoshi Urinal, Lula Lockhart likes literation. Psycheclips, they're called Transformers, not Cisformers. Very Gucci, VMan6785, A Dubious Little Creature, Dark Sage 52, Jared Bowser, Junma. Quack, Bunch of Sevens, Queen Snoo, the Dog Cat Possum Girl thing is very good at gender and very bad at having energay. Emirsa Bella, Kamisama, Hank J. Wimbledon, Working Retail, Storm V, Women Love Cannons, Fruit Squish, Haley McLean, Hoshizora Soul VT. Paper Mario 332 has become Paper the Red. Lunar Intrusive Thought. Molly Penelope III, the world's biggest lesbian, hopes you have a yeariful day. Kaya, your local Transavali who is currently haunting your fridge. Nightmare King. All the bugs Yugi has killed. Chas Hackman. Durmax, Firefly. Fumits Mew, Han Ackles, Patrick Farrow, Theta927, Triangle and Drusi. Emerald is now asking you to imagine a stoat with a Pringle on its head. I bet you can't guess where I got the name Zenith. Jackie Cat, who reminds you that this section of the video is secretly an advertisement. Nemea, Corporate Enchantress. Albino the Infernape is a trans cat girl. Fern says hi, Cainthony, Kane Squire of Canetopia. Not Anon 42, Super Wumpa 22. Thanks, Miss Gamer Champ, you really helped with my loss. The Thetheride, Steven, Frankly Goomba. Hi529 says remember, it'll be alright, no matter how much it sucks in the meantime. Playtendo, Asphalt. Axie the Axolotl, who totally didn't forgore for months to fix a typo that aired in her first Patreon shoutout. Anyways, meet Cosmic Karma, the Immoral Emperor. Faye, the Faye that thinks that people kind of overblow the whole Faye stealing form mortals thing. Tammy Toa, Space Cat, Alien Bin 2553. Please, Gamer Champ, oh please don't say my name. I will explode if anyone ever says Kathalina. Connor Potter 3, Miku, Simply Mark, Tilted Pizza, Turku Bacon, Battery 0925. What a beautiful Duong. Choo Choo. Wycron. What if the real gimmick was the friends we made along the way? Meh. A bad name zero in my part. Amoin. Anthony Cermak, Baku Bread. Beignet couldn't make GamerChamp look up French words, open parentheses, also it's pronounced beignet, close parentheses. Boingus Doingus, definitely not SCP-049. Ekron Vulture, getting so scared. Heretical Hampter, I pay my exotic tavern girl, so why not you too, trans flag. Jackwolf5775, Just Burb, Kometo Prime. May I help you? I will be asking the questions, old man. Who are you? I am you. No, not me. You. Yes, I'm you. Just answer the dang Q. Nicholas Brown, Old Man Yelling, Planter of QZ. Powered by Eels, Queen of Jacks, Rage Mage 69, Sakagura Sim, Shy Guy the Masquerade, Selena McClellan, Superbird. Trey says Ghost X Soap is best ship, now I say it too. Minx the Jester goes by her middle name Rose sometimes and would like to remind you that he likes having long usernames. Can I say this? I don't know if I can say this. Fine, I'll say it. Sploinkity Donko. Delson Harbinger, the nefarious energy sphere eater, Umbra the Sphere Doer. Tonight at 7, local idiot discovers running water, Avul Hyphen. Comrade Terra says it's not too late, you can be a girl too. Digital Badger, Hecat's Noah, Gyler Tones, Ranger Nix, Robobot Fan, Shogun Metal Shot, the many coils and other mysteries of a rotating snake gif. A square loser, Dryad of the Woods, El Mullet, the man who lives solely off of retro achievements, Hendrik von Rensselaer.
Hi, this is me, the original Game Champ, angry at Game Champ 3000 for locking me in the basement.
Lord Sega, I beseech thee, please let my sunrise star out of gay baby jail.
Piss Joke 2, Piss Harder, Space Hawk, Doyless Stage. Jacqueline the Psych Lesbian, who might as well be a walking advert for Hot Topic at this point. Lady Guinevere, Loot, Lotta Otter, Crow the Witch, Miriam Burgers, Normal. Idara Feka, Lucy Zilla, Maxwell Bauer, Monster, aka Monter, aka Law. Dot Beeps, Game Champ 3000 is amazing. Mick Stevington, Who's the Dumb loves her girlfriend be very much. Amo Nakafuckle, I'm a mimic, says the mimic. K, Alejandro K. Gutierrez-Briggs. The Aurora Boros, Transonic Girl, and King K. Rule says hi there, Game Champ. Hope this helps you have a rotten day.
Choose a big one!
You can't get out of my house just yet. K-Rule left us our final reward at patreon.com/GameChamp. It's incredibly difficult to tell precisely when he had time to do this, but I'm placing my bet on the pool attack. Turns out, when you hit K-Rule as he pops up from the mush, his current attack turns to gold and it infects all the mush it touches. While we didn't get any gold directly from that, the fact we auto-collected gold after the battle tells me a couple loose nuggets chipped off, landmines lost somewhere in the muck waiting to go off when the battle concludes. I'm not too fond of the idea of staring down any golden needles in this banana stack. We'll have to beat K-Rule without any nuggets appearing at all. Before any of that, we've gotta make our way back. When first running through Neodonk, you're faced with an upward vertical climb through breakable terrain. Gold will likely get in your way if you just punch through, so go around the side of the building. Glass may not be climbable, but the billboards are. Along the way, hot swap between whatever Bonanza form you happen to need at the particular moment. Zebra can climb and run fast, Ostrich can hover across gaps and around corners, and Snake can get you vertical lift. At the construction site, don't go down the main path. The devs thought they were sneaky turning camera control off. Turns out, the end goal of this section is just slightly off screen to the left, and there's nothing stopping you from shinnying over. Don't get too amped up, K-Rule's planted a trap. The top of this building triggers a cutscene introducing the final boxing ring. This cutscene auto-collects all spawned gold. I'd estimate there's a 0% chance you got through all this chaos without at least one nugget tucking itself in a corner. Triggering the cutscene is synonymous with failure, unless we fudge the numbers. When you're almost at the top, climb along the back way and nudge upward until your current checkpoint pops on screen. Let go, embrace your gooey bath, arrive atop the tower, and trigger the cutscene with all gold erased. I undersold earlier how painfully low the odds of getting through these crumbly bridges is. Based on a short test, I'd estimate the odds of success are about 1 in 10. Meaning 9 times out of 10, you have to redo the entirety of the Neo-Donk Gauntlet. Let's put some fingers on the scale. After a lot of experimentation, I found what I was looking for. After the cutscene plays, turn around and briefly drop below the back ledge. This'll trigger 2 rotten croc snakes from the prior climb segment who leave behind some rotten muck. When sucked up by elephant, the rotten muck is converted into pure, explosive gold. It's not useful on its own, so pass it over and let Pauline chow down. Jump over one croc, turn the camera straight up and shoot the bridge from below, and continue platforming simultaneously. Turns out, blowing a hole in the bridge in advance has lower gold odds than using your head. It's not completely safe though. If embedded gold appears, you have no choice but to hop off the ride and make one more try. If loose gold spawns, try to move your camera back in that direction. There's a good chance as long as it's active, it'll fall into the lava below and despawn by the time you reach the arena for the absolutely, truly final rematch to give the King of Rot his well-deserved refund.
No way. 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 Yes. 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 That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh my god. No pools. 0 pools. There's no way he's spawning any nuggets. 0 pools. Come on, please. Let's go. 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 If we get a nugget, we've got to re-examine everything and figure out where that nugget is coming from. I gotta calm down. That feels nice.
With K. Rool banished to the banishment whence he came, the Donkey Kong Bonanza minimum failing to not collect Banana Run is mission failed 9 times.
Hey, look at that. That's a lower number than 10. That was the real goal all along. Basically mission complete, yay. So how was your day? I'm good. I'm recording the script. Well, I'm not anymore, I guess. I'm gonna go play video games now. Heart emoji.